Thank you, Paul. Now, on my way up here yesterday, I had the pleasure of doing something that not many Reform candidates or election agents have done so far. I popped into the council offices in Northamptonshire to reclaim our deposit after Ben got such a fantastic result in Wellingborough last week. So it seems appropriate that Paul should ask me to come on stage today and say a few words about what we did, why we did it, and how it translated into our best parliamentary election result so far. Now, these 5 minutes aren't really long enough to go through everything that we did in those 5 weeks, but hopefully I can give you a bit of a flavour for you to take away and use in your own campaigns. So whenever the general election may be, 13% can be our minimum, not our maximum vote share. Now, of course, it helps that we had a great candidate. Ben Habib is one of the most impressive people I've ever met in politics or business. Knowledgeable, passionate, articulate, approachable, thoughtful, empathetic. On the campaign trail, Ben was all of these things, and he rose to every challenge that was faced in front of him. But the candidate is only half of the story. For the constituency to get the best out of the candidate, and for the candidate to get the best out of the constituency, you also need a plan. In Wellingborough, we had a clear plan, with one simple objective: get our message across to as many people as possible, using every means we had at our disposal. So we had the visual presence of street stalls and our amazing Reform UK battle bus. We held public meetings in village halls and pubs across the constituency. We blitzed social media with highly professional visual content. We took full advantage of the interest shown by the traditional media. And in stark contrast to the Tory candidate, who seemingly spent the whole campaign in hiding, we made Ben accessible to every journalist who came to the constituency, and the coverage we got spoke volumes. But great though the air war was, let's be honest, that was really aimed at a wider national audience. Certainly no bad thing, but not necessarily the most effective way to win hearts and minds in an individual constituency. On a local level, votes are won or lost on people's doorsteps. So we put a huge amount of time, effort and resource into direct mail to make sure that every household had at least 3 pieces of literature through the post, more if the household included a postal voter. But above all, we canvassed and we canvassed. We spoke to thousands of residents across the whole constituency, learning crucial information about their voting intention. And that is what laid the foundation for the most effective get-out-the-vote operation Reform has ever run. Knowing who your voters are and are not is the most important factor in any successful election campaign. It's how our councillors in Derby get re-elected year after year. And it's how, for only the second time ever in a parliamentary by-election, we not only met, but smashed our national polling average. Polls are great for measuring potential, but it's real votes in real elections are what really count, and that's what we achieved in Wellingborough. So we had a great candidate, and we had a great plan, but you also need a great team to deliver that plan. Over the 5 weeks, around 300 volunteers from all over the country, including a solid core from Wellingborough itself, made our office in Beeswing House a hive of activity day after day, week after week. Now, some of you may remember my first by-election with Reform UK was as the candidate in Chesham and Amersham 2.5 years ago. But what a journey we've been on since then. Back then, we were firmly in the 1% club. Now, we're serious contenders. But like many journeys, we've not yet reached the final destination. In May, we have our most important challenge to date, London. Forget the Tories and Susan Who. It's our fantastic candidate, Howard Cox, who is holding Sadiq Khan to account for his failure on crime, his failure on housing, and above all, his signature policy, ULEZ, that is nothing more than a tax on hard-working Londoners. So we get a blinding result for Howard in May, and that really puts us on the map, more than ever before. And under the proportional voting system, we'll get candidates elected to the London Assembly, and then we will send that shockwave through the political establishment. And then of course, onto the general election. Now, Richard has said time and time again, no deals with the toxic Tories who promised the earth but broke our country. No deals with Labour either. If you don't know what a woman is, you're not fit to be in government. So we are standing everywhere. We fight for every vote and we fight for every seat. So let's replicate what we did in Wellingborough and take it right across the country. Those three vital ingredients: be the candidate, make the plan, grow the team. And together, let's all give Britain the reform and the reform UK it so desperately needs. Thank you.